name is Emily, and this is a video all about the art supplies I use on a regular basis. There are things you've probably seen in all of my videos, at least a few of them, because I do have a lot of art supplies. I'm gonna say this right now, yes, I do have a lot of expensive art supplies. Some of them are gifts, and this is in no way me trying to brag. This is me just telling you what I use during the process of one of my paintings. So I want to get that out of the way. I am an adult with a good job, and I'm able to pay for, 95% of the things that I have with my own money that I have worked for. If you guys want to see any reviews on any of the products that are featured here, just please let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely take that into consideration. I hope you guys enjoy this art supply video. So as I go through some of the things I use, I will be demonstrating them on some of them, not all of them, on the scrap piece of paper right here, just so you guys can kind of get a feel for what I use all the time. So let's go ahead and start with sketching. The thing that I sketch most of my final pieces with are these bad boys. These are the Prismacolor Kohl Erase erasable colored pencils, essentially. The function is in the name, really. Kohl Erase, colored erase. Similarly, I recently discovered these. These are the Pilot Color Eno erasable colored mechanical pencils. It's kind of a mouthful. Similar function, but the biggest difference is these are a little bit more pigmented with less pressure. So they're a little bit harder to erase. For sketching in my actual sketchbook, I use these guys. These are just the Bic crystal colored pens. I try to avoid at all costs using pencils in my sketchbook so I can kind of have a more sure hand if I'm just doing black. RSVP pen by Pentel. It's a super thin ballpoint pen. If I ever do sketch in graphite, I use the Palomino Blackwing. And then also with that, I just have woodless graphite for larger areas. If I'm laying down a preliminary sketch and I want to do it in graphite, I use my Twist Erase by Pentel. For accents on toned paper, I will use white charcoal. And then to erase, I have 3 different kinds of, dog hair, gross. Another dog hair, gross. Oh my god, another dog hair, Osa, holy shit. Still getting used to having a Doge that sheds all year, so 99% of the time I will use this kneaded eraser and just manipulate it to the way I like it. I feel it's best for watercolor paper because it doesn't remove the sizing. If I'm gonna use these guys, which is a little Tough Stuff BB eraser, and then just a regular, I think this is by Pentel as well, just a little click eraser. If I'm gonna use either of these guys or my Pilot little triangular one, it's gonna be on something that obviously doesn't have watercolors. And even I wouldn't use this for a Copic marker drawing either. So let's go ahead and carry on to inking. Now the thing I use the most, well, I have 3 things I use the most here for general broad lines. I use the Pentel Pocket Brush, and I use the Pilot brush pens in hard, and I think this one is soft. Yes, that is correct. Blue one is hard, this one is soft. Not gonna make a joke, not gonna make a joke, not gonna make a joke. I used to really, really love the Pentel Pocket Brush, and I still do. It can go to such a fine point and then get such big, thick points because this is an actual brush. It has actual synthetic fibers. That's kind of a pro and a con because over time, the fibers can kind of sit funny depending on how you have your pen positioned. But more often than not, I ink last when I do most of my portraits. And because of that, I prefer these guys. The tip is a felt tip, but it's a lot more firm, and I feel with that firmness I can almost get a little bit better control. For finer details, if it's just in my sketchbook, I will use the Sharpie pen, but then if I want something darker, I will use microns. These microns are so old. I think this is in 005. just like the finest you can get, like that. So really fine details. And then the infamous white ink. I use the Signo pens. I use 1 millimeter, and I believe this is 0.7 millimeters, the angelic color. And then when I want really, 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 really vibrant lines, I use the Daler & Rowney FW white acrylic artist ink. I also use the Higgins black ink for large areas of black. For a fun little added bonus, I just have a bunch of gel pens. I have some Jelly Roll ones. I have some other Signo ones. I fucking love these metallic Signo ones. These are like crack to me, man. I also use, for commission work that is being purchased, I use these Faber-Castell Artist Pitt pens. They're essentially just pens with archival ink. Let's move on to color. So, watercolor and gouache. I don't have a problem. Okay, yes, this is a little bit overboard, and there's still more underneath my desk, but I would argue I am a collector of watercolors and also a user, so it's not like these are going to waste. I do give a fair amount of attention to each and every palette. I've purchased these over the course of a few years. This one was a gift, and I fucked it up with stickers. I shut your mouth, nobody say anything. I know. I just really like stickers. These are some of my White Nights watercolors, and then I have my Schmincke Horadam watercolors, and then I have my Core Winsor & Newton, and then my Old Holland watercolors. These are the 3 palettes right here of watercolors that you will see most frequently in all my videos. And then for gouache, I have these 3 things. These are pre-dried gouache that I just kind of add honey to, so it's like on the go. And then I recently purchased the Holbein Artist gouache. Go check out my review on that. Gouache it. And then I still use my Reeves gouache. They work fine. Out of all the kind of cheap, shitty student stuff, this gouache is the best gouache for its price, I think. I also use Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. These are very dirty because these are very, very old. I've had the loose ones that I have right now for probably about 15 years. Oh, I'm old! And then a gift from my ex a few years ago. He got me the complete set. I've just gotten some really great art gifts from this ex-boyfriend. So thank you, you awesome person, you. Can I just stop and say hooray for amicable breakups? Like, this is just like a thing. Most of my breakups have been pretty amicable, and we still all respect each other and occasionally talk. But like, I just think it's a really healthy thing when you make an effort to not hate the other person. Because I feel like it's super easy to just write someone off and say, no, they were fucking mean or crazy or stupid or X, Y, and Z. It's so easy to do that, but it's a lot harder to be like, you know what? I fucked up too. Let's shake hands and be cool about it. Random life advice in an art supply video. I have quite a few Prismacolor brush markers, alcohol-based markers. They're pretty awesome. They're great. And then I also have a few of the Copic sketch markers, Copic Chows, Copic Originals. And again, these are also about 15 years old. Since Copics are kind of becoming a little scarce, I think the Prismacolor brush pens are the fucking best alternative. So I have a very fair mix of both of these. And then also, I don't know if I've ever posted anything acrylic, but I do also paint. Fuck me. I also paint in acrylic, and I haven't invested quite as much money in my acrylic paintings. I think I'm okay at acrylic. I don't think I'm bad at it. It's just something I do for more decorative reasons than anything else. I do use the Artist Loft student quality acrylic paints. They work fine. And then these are about, oh geez, these are going on like 17 years old. I got these when I was very young from my grandmother. I try not to use them that much just because, you know, my grandma gave them to me. My grandma's the one who kind of taught me art and how to draw and everything. So these are kind of like a keepsake almost for me. So I'll use them only on very special pieces. And I only have one more of these. I adore them though. The Golden Artist Colors. acrylic paints. You just can't fucking go wrong. I absolutely adore them. I wish I had more. Maybe in a few more months I'll invest in a few more golden colors, but just can't go wrong with these. Now I'm gonna talk about brushes, so I'm just gonna move this guy aside. So for dry watercolor brushes, some of these are made up here with black duct tape. I use the Princeton Art 4050R brushes. They're synthetic. I use them actually more than my favorite brushes just because they have a really good snapback, and usually that's what I think I value most in a watercolor brush. If you're on a bit of a budget, they have like a similar one. These are the 4350Rs. And they're a little cheaper, but similar. I also use these mixed hair brushes. These are the black velvet, silver black velvet, and they're mixed with squirrel and synthetic. They hold so much effing water. And then lastly is like my baby brush here. This is the Winsor & Newton Series 7. Gotta stop touching it, the oil's on my hands. This is Real Kolinsky Sable. This was a gift alongside the Schmincke Horadam from the same person. Spoiled me rotten, too kind. Then here's some interesting specialty brushes. These are the Kiji Aqua brushes. These are great for travel. Don't like them for anything else. And then lastly are my acrylic brushes. This is my big motherfucker by Royal and Langnickel. Then for smaller paintings or more fine details, a number 8 round by Art District. That's Aaron Brothers, you know, generic brand. Most of my acrylic brushes are Simply Simmons. I think those are decently priced and work the best and feel the greatest in the hand. They're really not super heavy because I just don't like heavy brushes. It's like a big heavy in your hand. That's all fine and dandy and great, but you know, I don't want to in my hand when I'm fucking painting. Maybe if I'm feeling good, like a paintbrush in one hand and like a in the other. Now we're gonna do paper, which is kind of the last subject. Kind of a lot of paper. By the way, guys, if I seem a little low energy, it's because I am. I just kind of had an off day today. I don't know. Please forgive that. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened. You know. Y'all know. Just like a weird day. That's all. So, let's start out with my sketchbook. I get the Daler & Rowney Cachet. So here's what a page looks like. Poogs. I just really like the size. 7x10, perfect size. I'm slow on sketchbooks. I got this little tiny sketchbook of the same brand to carry around for watercolor. These are the brands that I use for just, you know, watercolor paintings just for me. I use the Strathmore 400 and 300 series. For things that I'm selling or commissions, I use the Arche hot pressed. And then for colored pencils and markers and things like that, I just used either the XL Recycled Bristol. This one isn't the vellum. This one has a bit of a texture to it. Or I will also use the 300 series by Strathmore. And then for on the go, I have a couple of these. And then this is just my regular one. So that one is on its way to being filled as well. Now for some miscellaneous stuff. I use a small T-square here. Take it up to your watercolor pad or your art pad or what have you and line this up, and it makes a perfectly perpendicular straight line to the edge of it. So for my watercolors, I usually prefer to put them on kind of an external palette, preferably made of porcelain. So I got this here. I got 3 of them at like a Goodwill. And then this one I got, I think, at Blick. For sharpening my pencil, this is a Foray electric pencil sharpener. My dad had it, and then when I moved out of my dad's house, I was like, hey, can I take this? And he was like, no. And I said, whoops, I already packed it. Sorry. So, sorry, Dad. I don't think it's expensive or anything. It's pretty basic, but it's lasted me all these years. So, and then just a Fiskars little paper cutter. So those are all the art supplies that I use. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you want to see a review of any of them, let me know in the comments down below and I will take that into consideration. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up or leave a feedback comment down in the description if you like this video or see room for improvement, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stay out of trouble. See you guys later.